I'm Kelly Assinesi, and this is Understanding by Design and the UBDs with what I learned about them. The main topic was the American Civil War, 8th grade social studies, and the Georgia standard was SS 8H6, and there were three topics. The first was to explain the importance of key issues and events that led to the Civil War. The second was to state the importance of key events of the Civil War. And lastly, it was to analyze the impact of the Reconstruction on Georgia and all the other southern states. So we start off with UBD 1. UBD 1 allowed teachers to focus on the essential questions and what students need to understand about this lesson in order to grasp the concept. This also helped teachers realize what really is important for the students to learn and what they should take away most. So what I really liked about the UBD ones was that it gave columns for the essential questions and the understandings that the student should take away in order to pass a test or just learn basic knowledge of what that certain topic is all about. And the essential questions could go from um, what dates did the Civil War take place, and simple questions to why is this war so important in American history. The next is UBD2. UBD2 is probably my favorite to deal with. Through the UBD2, there shows some evidence of the student actually learning. The students in my class will go through what is called a web quest in order for the student to learn what I have done in my UBD2. So the students will be split up into two groups, and this will be chosen at random. There will be a north side and a south side. Each student will do research as to what their side believed in or fought for in the war, and they will be paired up against someone from the opposite side to debate against them. So an example would be if we're talking about the economy, one student on the south would debate why a agricultural economy was better, um, and on the north, a student would debate against them about why an industrial economy is better. There's also a rubric that I created, and it's significant for the students to be able to use to base their work off of what they need to do to get a certain grade. And I think this web quest will actually help them for a lot of memorization, and I think the debates will get pretty competitive, and I think students will enjoy that. The technology that the students will be using is pretty simple and standard. Each group will need a few computers or laptops to do their research um, on what they're going to debate, and also to be able to use WebQuest and be able to use it properly. Obviously, the internet will need to be working, and students, I will give the students an option to use a smartboard if they have a presentation on there, or they are using, the debate to their advantage by using a smartboard. And I think sometimes students will like that option. So up next is UBD3. UBD3 was really interesting. It involved important questions such as where is this unit headed? Why is the unit headed there? And then it also added stuff like, what are the goals in this unit and what equipment will we be using? So the first question, where is this unit headed? Students will be shown a timeline on the first day of the first lesson, and this timeline will include important dates and important wars, mostly of stuff that led up to the Civil War or the causes of the Civil War, which I like to call the origins of the Civil War. The second question is, why is it headed there? Students will become knowledgeable about why this war happened and what makes it so important in American history. And they'll need to know important things such as what wars were fought where and what generals led each side in those important battles and wars. The next is goals. Upon completing this unit, the students will know three things. They'll become knowledgeable about three things. The first is what I referred to earlier as the origins of the Civil War. The students will be able to identify what causes led up to the Civil War. The second is be able to identify the Northern and the Confederate or Southern states and which fought on which side. And the last is something I just mentioned earlier is which generals led for each side. The last thing to talk about in the UBD3, I thought that was important, was the equipment that we will be using. We will be using some smartboard for the learning, and then we will need some computers and tablets if available in the classroom, and if they're not, perhaps we can use the library. They'll need these to work on their web quests and to do research in order to figure out what their debate's going to be, and just do basic research on why a certain thing happened or why something led up to this war happening. Furthermore, we will also need access to PowerPoint and obviously the internet. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the overview of this course. This course changed how I view technology being viewed in classrooms, or being used in classrooms rather. There is not one thing that I would have changed in this course, and I loved every bit of everything that we did. Dr. H did a great job of implementing the technology needed in our classroom, and also teaching us how we could use it as teachers in our classroom. And I think going to Level Grove Elementary proved that, and that those kids just impressed me on every level in using technology, and changed my views of how I thought technology should be used in schools, especially among younger kids. I thought maybe it would, kind of poison younger kids, but after seeing that, I was definitely impressed, and it made me want to use technology in my classrooms. Furthermore, um, getting to this class specifically, this was a phenomenal class. Um, the thing that I enjoyed the most probably was the presentations we gave at the end on the last day of class, using the smartboard and doing a lesson of our own to teach to our classmates was awesome. And to be able to do that, using the activities through smartboard and notebook, I think just helped tremendously for myself personally, and I know it did for some of my classmates. And Dr. H did a great job, and this course was great. And I hope to be able to use technology in my classrooms as I get older as a teacher, and learn a lot more about technology and its benefits.